Welcome back to another MECH 1000 video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a table. So a table is basically like a chart. It's got rows and columns that we can put text or numbers into. Again, with a lot of just like a lot of other annotation type commands, it can be found on this annotation toolbar on the Home tab, or if you go to the Annotate tab, we can see here we've got another place where we can create a table, and this gives us a few more options here. But all we really need to do is select the table command, and so we can see here that the table style is set here to standard. We don't really need to mess with that. We can just leave that as is. We can specify the number of columns and rows, but there's something kind of funny I have found about the way AutoCAD numbers its rows. So you can see here in this preview here, you can choose to have a title row. So if you want to add a title to the top of your table, you put that there. And then each of the columns could have a header at the top of it describing what kind of data is in that column. So maybe this is like the part number, the name, and the description, or something like that. And then all the rest of the rows just contain various data. So the what AutoCAD does is it's going to give you the first two rows no matter what. Now, you can specify whether you actually want a title row, or maybe you just want it to be a regular data row. And same with the second row. Maybe you don't need headers, maybe you just want that to be data too. So maybe we just want a table with just data. The thing is that those first two rows are basically included in the table no matter what. And the number you put in here for the number of data rows is essentially how many more than the standard 2 do you want. So in other words, if I put in a 5 here and click OK, it's going to actually create a table with 7 rows, because you get those first two, the title and header rows, automatically. And so what you're specifying here is how many in addition to those two do you want. Even if you switch these to data and data, you're still going to get 5 plus 2 equals 7. So you can specify the number of columns, the number of rows. I tend not to worry about the width of the rows or columns, because typically we adjust those after we create them. So we just click OK here, and then choose where we want our table to go. So see what I mean? We ended up with seven rows here, even though we only typed in 5. Because you get the first two no matter what. So we get 2 plus 5 equals 7. And then you just click in each cell, and you can start typing whatever data or data you want to go in there. So click in that one. My computer's lagging a little bit here. It's actually lagging a lot. There we go. And so you can create the table, just type in the cell in order to type in whatever information you want. And then as far as adjusting the size of it, if you click on it, all these blue grips appear, and then you can use the grips to stretch. If we want to make the table less wide, we can make it more narrow by dragging those grips in. If we need to stretch them out, we can do that as well. We can use the bottom grip here, or that's going to make the table, the rows larger. And in fact, what that did is because the rows became so big, it kind of had to spread them out. Um, if you drag it back up to make them more narrow, it kind of goes back into one. So that's pretty much it for making a table. There's not that much to it. You just click, again, to recap, click on table, specify the number of rows and columns you want. Just remember that the rows is going to be 2 plus whatever number you put in here. And then after you make the table and type in the information, you can adjust the width of those columns by dragging those grips around. I don't think we're going to need to add a table for a couple of more chapters. I think when we get into chapter 10, we'll be using a table to create a parts list. But this is the chapter in which it's introduced in the textbook, so that's why the video is here in chapter 7. So that's how you make a table in AutoCAD.